2 million downloads in under 3 months, 78% of them from Windows machines. That's not some niche Linux stat that only Arch users care about. That's a migration. And the reason it's happening? Microsoft just pulled one of the most aggressive moves in its entire history. And somehow, almost nobody is talking about it the right way.
What actually happened?
So here's what went down. October 14th, 2025, Microsoft officially pulled the plug on Windows 10. No more security updates, no more patches, done. Finished. And normally you'd upgrade to Windows 11, right? That's what you do. Easy. Nope. See, Windows 11 needs a TPM 2.0 chip, a security chip that has to be physically inside your machine. If your PC was built before, like 2018, good chance you don't have one, or you do have one, but it's turned off in the BIOS and you'd never know. On top of that, Microsoft demands at minimum an Intel 8th Gen or AMD Ryzen 2000 series processor. Anything older than that, you're locked out, period. And here's where it gets wild. Canalys Research, and these are legit industry analysts, not some random blog, they estimated that 240 million PCs worldwide cannot upgrade to Windows 11. Let that sit for a second. 240 million. That's roughly 1 out of every 5 Windows computers on the planet. So, what's Microsoft's solution? Buy a new PC. Or, hey, you can pay $30 for 1 year of extended security updates that only cover critical patches. 1 year. And after that, you're on your own. Now, this is where the story actually gets interesting, because there is an answer, and it's probably not what you've been hearing from most tech channels.
Okay, but Linux actually changed this time.
All right, I know. You've heard people say, just install Linux before, and your eyes immediately rolled back into your skull. Trust me, I get it. For years, Switch to Linux was basically the tech version of just learn to code. Technically correct, practically useless for 99% of people. But something actually changed this time. And this is the part I think most people are completely sleeping on. There's this Linux distribution called Zorin OS, built by 2 brothers, Artyom and Kirill Zorin, out of Dublin, Ireland. And they did something that no other Linux distro has pulled off at this scale. They didn't just slap together another desktop that kind of sort of looks like Windows. They reverse engineered the entire onboarding experience specifically for people leaving Windows. And then, okay, hear me out. They launched Zorin OS 18 on the same day Windows 10 died. October 14th. Same day. That's not a coincidence. That's a surgical strike. And here's what blew my mind. Within 48 hours, Zorin OS 18 hit 100,000 downloads. 5 weeks in, it crossed 1 million. And as of early 2026, it's blown past 2 million downloads, with over 3/4 of those coming from Windows machines. Screen recording. Zorin OS download page showing additions. Now look, I want to be straight with you. Downloads are not installs, and installs are not permanent switches. But even if only half of those people stuck around, that's 1 million new Linux users in a single quarter.
That has never happened before.
So what makes Zorin different?
Okay, so what actually separates Zorin from, say, Ubuntu or Linux Mint or Pop OS? Here's the thing most tech reviewers totally gloss over. They'll show you the desktop and go, look, it has a start menu, it looks like Windows. Cool, great. That's been true of like a dozen distros for a decade. That's not the story. What Zorin actually did differently is way more subtle, and honestly, way more important. First, the migration assistant. When you download a windows.exe file in Zorin and try to open it, instead of just throwing an error or silently trying wine, Zorin has this built-in database of over 170 common Windows apps. It actually recognizes what you're trying to install and gives you a recommendation. Like, hey, you're trying to install Microsoft Office. Here's how to use the web version through our web apps tool. Or here's LibreOffice as a native alternative. Trying to install Photoshop? Here's GIMP. Or here's the Photoshop web app. This is huge. Because the number one reason people bounce off Linux isn't the desktop layout. It's that moment where you try to install your go-to app and just hit a wall. Zorin built a bridge right at that exact wall. Second, OneDrive integration. And this is the one that made me actually sit up in my chair. Zorin OS 18 has native OneDrive support baked right into the Files app through GNOME online accounts. You sign in with your Microsoft 365 account and your OneDrive files just show up in the sidebar. You can browse them, open them, work with them. Think about what that actually means for a second. The biggest lock-in Microsoft has isn't Windows itself. It's your files, your documents, your photos, your work stuff sitting in OneDrive. Zorin lets you get to all of that without Windows. That breaks the chain. Third, and this is the one nobody talks about, the Web Apps tool. Zorin lets you take any website and turn it into what looks and acts like a native desktop app. Microsoft 365 Online, Google Docs, Spotify Web, Figma, Adobe Photoshop Web, you pin them to your taskbar, they open in their own window, they show up in your app menu. It feels native. And if your workflow is already like 80% browser-based, this changes everything. Because suddenly, you don't need native app compatibility for most of what you do. And then there's the layout system. Zorin Appearance lets you swap your entire desktop layout with a single click. Want a Windows 10 style taskbar and start menu? Done. Windows 11 centered taskbar? Done. macOS dock? Done. No restart, no reinstall. It just morphs. And it's not a theme. It's actually restructuring the panel, start menu behavior, and window management. Pretty slick.
The hardware angle?
Now, let me talk about the hardware side, because this is where Zorin becomes almost unfairly good. Remember those 240 million PCs that can't run Windows 11? Zorin OS 18's minimum requirements are a 1 GHz dual-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, and 10 gigs of storage. That's it. No TPM 2.0, no UEFI secure boot requirement, no CPU generation gate, nothing. And if even that is too beefy for your ancient machine, Zorin OS Lite uses the XFCE desktop environment and runs on 1.5 gigs of RAM. I'm talking laptops from 2012 running smoothly, like embarrassingly smooth for how old they are. Zorin OS 18 is built on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS with Linux kernel 6.14. Translation: it gets security updates until June 2029. That's 3.5 more years of support from launch day. Compare that to Microsoft giving you 1 year of paid band-aids and then saying, good luck. And here's the kicker. It's not just an old PC play. The kernel update means it supports brand new hardware too. NVIDIA RTX 5000 series, AMD Ryzen AI NPU support, and Intel Panther Lake compatibility. You can run this on a brand new machine, and it absolutely flies. Oh, and the audio stack is now Pipewire, which means Bluetooth headphones actually work properly with low latency. If you've ever tried Bluetooth audio on older Linux distros, yeah, you know the pain. Pipewire fixes that.
What isn't perfect?
All right, let me be real for a second, because I'm not here to sell you a fairy tale. If you run very specific professional Windows-only software, I'm talking CAD programs like SolidWorks, certain accounting packages, medical or engineering tools with vendor-locked drivers. Wine and Proton aren't always going to save you. Some of that stuff genuinely needs Windows. You might need a virtual machine or a dual boot setup for those. Printer and scanner drivers, hit or miss. Most major brands work fine. HP, brother, Canon, but some niche peripherals just don't have Linux support yet. Definitely test before you go all in. And if your company uses enterprise single sign-on or conditional access policies through Azure Active Directory, that can get messy with the web app approach. It works, but you might run into some friction. Those are real limitations. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they don't exist.
So what should I actually do?
Okay, so here's the practical part. The part where you actually do something with this information. If you've got a PC running Windows 10 right now, here's your move. Head to Zorin.com, grab Zorin OS 18 Core, it's completely free, and use a tool like Balena Etcher to flash it onto a USB drive. Boot from that USB, You don't have to install a single thing. Zorin runs as a live session straight off the stick. Poke around, open your browser, connect to Wi-Fi, try your peripherals, and see if your workflow actually works. Zero risk, zero commitment. And if it works, then install it. The installer walks you through everything. It even offers to install alongside Windows so you can dual boot while you get comfortable. You don't have to burn any bridges on day one. Your PC isn't dead. It never was. Microsoft just decided it wasn't worth its time anymore. But that doesn't mean you need to drop $800 on a new laptop. It means you need a different operating system. And right now, for most people, Zorin OS 18 is the most painless way to make that switch. And honestly, the real story here isn't about one Linux distro having a killer quarter. It's about what happens when a company makes a calculated decision to abandon hundreds of millions of perfectly working machines, and somebody else shows up with an answer. 2 million downloads in 3 months. And something tells me we're just getting started. If you found this useful, or if you're actually going to try Zorin, let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to hear how it goes. And if you want to see more stuff like this, you already know what to do.